Welcome, everyone, to the Kop Talk podcast. This is the football upside down. We are still in quarantine, but we are here together, healthy, happy. I'm Darius. That's David. That's Andrew. You see them all in the corners. Lads, how are we all doing? Andrew, Dave, how are you guys?
I'm alive. No, everything's more or less okay. I'm from a family perspective, everyone's healthy. I have a job still. So from that front, I can't complain. I know a lot of people out there are struggling and so on and suffering. But other than that, I'm just upset that there's no football to watch. I can't see Bobby and Mo do their thing. I can't see Bobby doing Bobby things, and that's upsetting. But other than that, everything's all right.
Yeah, no, I'm gainfully employed, so I'm not going to complain about anything at the moment, other than the fact that we can't watch Liverpool. But that's about it. So
yeah, and
I'm
Darius
on the porch. It's all good.
Yeah, and Darius, what about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've got my job. I've got my health. So, and everyone in my life, we're all healthy and happy. It's just we're all in the same boat, just sitting back and like, when the hell are we gonna have football again? We don't know. We don't know.
We're
but
gonna play again.
When can we go out and just sit at a bar?
I can't even find
hang out.
Yeah. No, there's not even a public park to kick a ball around at because all the parks are closed.
And
right.
It's so crazy that I went and bought a bicycle, man. I'm riding a bike now. Instead of driving my car, I'm waking up in the morning and riding a bicycle. I rode my bike to Publix the other day. Dope. Like I bought groceries and stuff. Walgreens.
Did you get like a cooler backpack for
man, I just had a normal backpack, man. I'm not buying I don't buy a lot of stuff. I don't have 5 kids or anything, so we're good. But yeah, I've been riding my bike and realized, wait, why don't we just have one car and I'll ride my bike everywhere? Amazing.
I have a backpack that's like a cooler, like a proper. It's properly lined and everything. I might just do beer runs with that and then be like, look, the beer in the backpack on the way back. It's like weights. So it's I'm really
you can train like Goku. Yeah.
That was weight training. That was the resistance training that he did. He kicked up the gravity, so you just you get to have a beer at the end. That's the only difference. You're basically
pop
Goku.
The beers in, do 50 squats, hop back on the bike. My thighs when we get out of this are gonna be jacked.
Yeah, you'll look like Thor. It'd be dope.
So Andrew, you're getting your Lance Armstrong on. David, you are doing project home renovations, HGTV.
Basically everything, yeah. My porch is pimped out. My backyard's pimped out. My shed's pimped out.
So when's the party?
Yeah, well, the one thing I've realized is that there's a reason that plumbers make so much money.
Oh, is it that?
I tried to replace the toilet in the master bath, and it was a process. And it kept getting worse the more things that I tried. I finally just had to call a dude. I was like, I need you to come out, pop this toilet in, bro.
Man. Did you call Alvarez Plumbing or what?
I called Red Cap. It was fine.
All right.
Sorry, I don't know Alvarez.
You got it done.
I don't ever call anyone for anything. I always just figure it out. But this one, I was just like, I cannot get this toilet to stop going wild on me. So I was like, I called up a dude, whatever.
Oh, that's.
He popped that thing in 40 minutes. He's like, "You're good."
Did you wash your hands for 20 seconds afterwards?
Sing happy birthday twice.
I wash my hands for 20 seconds when I go get the mail, bro.
Oh man, yeah, I haven't been a good person in regards to all that. So basically,
I'm supposed to admit that.
No, but this is story time. I'm gonna go into Storyland. So what happened?
Let's do it.
So about a month ago, right? I had first of all, I had a house guest from Poland visiting, and her first time in America. So we go to Puerto Rico, and then as soon as we land, Trump goes on doing a press conference. Was like everything's shut down, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
2 days later, my friend goes to New York. While New York is under, I am legend status, She goes there for 24 hours, comes back, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm finna die from the virus. Nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. And then the following week, my friend says, hey, I'm moving back to Boston. The person who was going to drive my car bailed on me. Can you help me? And I said, well, I work from home, so yeah, I don't care. So yeah, me and the missus drove from Tampa all the way to Boston, touching gas station things, blah, 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 staying at hotels. Yo, homie drove through the snow for the first time. I almost died on the highway outside of Boston, and then I'm
You got some black ice?
no. The what do you call it? Hydroplaning? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yo. I was going like 60 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden, and then I was like, oh my God, I should be in the next Fast and the Furious movie. I know what I'm doing. So, no, but then, yeah, so we were in Boston for a couple of days. We walked around. Everything was closed, but we walked around Harvard and stuff like that. So that was
Couldn't even
fun.
get some chowder?
No, we couldn't get anything, man. We got Shake Shack. Have you ever been there? It's like a fancy McDonald's up there. They sell beer and stuff. It's pretty good.
They have them in other parts of the country. We're not cool enough to have one quite yet.
Yeah. But anyway, the whole thing was crazy because like it was so crazy. Like I didn't even tell my mom I was going. I was like too scared like to frighten her or whatever.
Oh, you would have freaked her out.
Oh
You're
yeah,
kind of
for
freaking
sure.
me out, to be honest.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Like you stay in that house.
No, but here's the thing. When we did it though, on the way there, we missed all the big cities. So we drove like we didn't go through Atlanta, we didn't go through Charlotte, we didn't go through DC, Philly, or anything or New York. Although we drove through Scranton, Pennsylvania. I saw where the big building in the Office show, like in the intro. Oh my God, Scranton was like going through to a third world country.
Oh yeah, dude, I've been to Scranton. Ain't
Ain't
nothing there. Matter of fact, Allentown, Pennsylvania is bigger than Scranton.
Oh my God, I like now I understand the jokes of why it's so bad. Like there's literally nothing there, and it's so like the roads. Dude, I was in Puerto Rico 2 weeks before that. The roads in Puerto Rico are better than in Scranton. No joke. Like more.
That's saying some shit, right?
Yeah, because you've been in Puerto Rico too. Yeah.
That's a low bar.
Like the roads in Puerto Rico were more smooth than they were in Scranton. I don't know if that has to do with the snow or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably, I don't know anything. But anyway, driving through the snow for the first time was dope. Boston was fun, but yeah, I was scared out of my mind. But good news is when my friend went back to Poland because she works in the hospital, and then in Poland they don't play any games. She got off the flight. They were like, they did the temperature thing. They sent her in the house. And then every day for 2 weeks, a police officer would come to her place to check on her, make sure she ain't going nowhere, which she didn't. And then after that, she was tested and nothing. So based on that knowledge, I think I'm okay. Like, based on the fact that she tested negative means I tested negative, even though I haven't been tested. That's my feel-good logic. But
so never mind the fact that you were licking door handles immediately.
Yeah.
Eating urinal cakes the whole time.
No, but filling up gas, I was like taking napkins and holding the gas thingy. And
okay.
Yeah, but it was nuts, man. But what was I gonna do? Tell my friend, no, I'm not gonna help you move. Good luck, bye. I mean, I have a job and all that stuff, so I was like, fuck it, we'll do it.
So, Andrew, you got your James Bond on, gallivanting up and down the East Coast. David, I heard you have quite the story to tell about your quarantine experience so far.
No, man, like I hadn't been out of the house in like 5 days. And I'm prefacing that because there's going to be some details in this story that you're going to be like, wow, you noticed that. Yes, I did. I hadn't been out of the house in 5 days. I was noticing everything, right? So like, I'm on my way back from Publix. I go to the one, it's like the apex of Florida and Nebraska,
For anyone who lives outside of the region, that's where Carol Baskins was picked up.
Oh, Tiger King!
It's a little north. Of there,
it's the same. It's the same general area.
Same general area. So anyway, I go to that Publix, and so I'm on my way home after Publix is crazy every time you go there now. But so I'm on my way home, and there's I'm rolling up Nebraska. And there's like a light where I'm going to turn left. And right as I'm about to go into that turn lane, I look up and I see this dude, and he's standing on the sidewalk on my right-hand side. And he looks up at the sky, and then he takes his shirt off, and then he drops his pants and his underwear, just lets his dinger out. This thing just flopping in the wind. He kicks his shorts into the road, and he just walks north on Nebraska like this, looking at God with his arms in the air. His uncircumcised member waving in the wind.
I hadn't heard that part. So 5 days on, you noticed. Oh, I see.
I posted this on our team channel, and one of the guys was like, "You noticed you looked close enough to tell it was uncircumcised?" I was like, "Look, Carl." I was like, "I hadn't been out of the house in 5 days, man. I noticed everything."
Oh my God.
I was like, he's definitely left-handed. If you get my drift, like.
Oh, that's TMI, but Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a Florida man right there.
He just lost it, man. He couldn't take any more containment of any kind.
I mean, you get it. We kind of all have to do the weird things we got to do to get through this. Like, we're all on Instagram looking at anything that we can, Twitter, whoever wants to throw out any kind of social media stuff. We're just jumping at it. Andrew, you're pulling us into this Instagram quiz that Liverpool put out the other day. This or that.
Yeah, I think it's more of a debate, but yeah, it caught my eye the other day because I thought it'd be fun to talk about, because I feel like maybe some of us will have different opinions on some of those things they posted.
I mean, I'll do it just to be contrarian, just to
just to bust our balls.
Be that guy.
All right, so let's go through some of these then. So Liverpool put it out. It's a this or that, and it's obviously a bunch of things that we all love as Liverpool fans, but you got to pick one. So the first one, better song, Si Senor. That'd be Best in the World is Bobby Firmino, or Ale, Ale, Ale.
Oh,
that's a tough one.
That is a tough one, because as a Spanish speaker on the podcast, I love me some Si Senor, even though it's ironic because obviously Bobby's Brazilian.
He speaks Portuguese, not Spanish.
I know it's completely irrelevant.
It should be Seem S-I-M. Senor.
I know, but it's like hashtag close enough. But I love yelling that, and then also I like singing it around the wife because she gets mad. So there's part of that. But then for me though, I guess the nostalgia and the more memories with Ale Ale Ale, like that Man City game at home in the Champions League. I still watch that video today pre-game, as part of my pre-game. There's this one video on YouTube where there's this video in the Kop and they're singing Ale 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 after the match, after the whistle, and like that's like part of my pre-match routine to, especially if we have an early kickoff, to kind of wake me up and get myself hyped on the way to where we watch the matches at London Heights and so on. So yeah, I have to go Ale Ale for me.
Yeah, I'd have to probably agree with that. Like, Ale Ale Ale, just like the time it came out, like the vibe around the club at that time was just like so electric, and it's been now kind of part of us through not only that 2018 final, but then all of last year and into this year. And it's just sort of like, and what I like about it is that like everybody can sing it. I love that VJ sings it in his sort of different pentameter, whatever, different meter.
Tone deaf is maybe what you're going for.
Huh?
It sounds like tone deaf is what you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, God.
I like that everybody sings it differently, but like it's sort of universal. But like as much as I love the Bobby song, and as much as we sing it around the pub, like that second line took a lot of people some time.
Oh yeah, for
There's
sure.
There's still debate over the words. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's Bobby for me. And then do you pass him the ball, or every time he gets the ball, he's gonna score?
Yeah, it's a bit confusing.
He's the best in the world. Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just get to the chorus and you're fine.
Yeah. I love the Bobby song, but we got to go Ale 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 on this one, I think.
Yeah, and then also I want to piggyback what you said as well, because when that kind of came out, or I believe it was around Porto when we played them in the knockout round,
Yeah, last 16.
The last 16. You can feel, like basically since LLA has came about, that we've just been on an upward crazy trajectory where we're in the stratosphere. Now we have Nike. We're gonna win the Premier League. We're champions of Europe and all this other stuff. So since that moment, that's kind of been like our, that was crossing the Rubicon, so to speak, for me. But yeah, so there's so many memories with that.
All right, so we're going to do this debate club style where somebody has to take the opposing view. Oh, I agree with you that Ale is the way to go, but here's why Si Senor has to be somebody's choice, because Si Senor, it slaps. It is just a party. When you hear it, you get up and it's like, you start moving.
I know. I love yelling it.
Number 9. Exactly. That's it. It's a party vibe. Like, yes, as a football supporters chant "Ale, ale, ale" as a song, that's what you go with.
You know what?
If you put it on in the club, I'm just saying, if you put it on in the club, put it on in the club, Si Senor is getting people moving. That's all I'm saying.
Basically, I would rather hear Si Senor at a wedding than I would Ale, ale, ale. That's the damn it.
All right, I'll give you that.
Matter of fact, Si Senor, it goes so hard that Wolves fans, they sing that now.
That's damn right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
At the final last year, Si Senor got everybody hyped before the game, but Ale, ale, ale is what everybody had going all throughout.
Okay.
So.
Hey, you don't have to make the
okay,
decision.
pencil pusher, damn it.
We don't have to come to a consensus. We're just pencil pusher. We're
actually, the fans responded to the trivia contest, and yeah, get the fuck out of here.
You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
No, I get it. No, it's a good attitude. Absolutely. No, but for me, I love, like, the best part of the song for me is just yelling the chorus, because, like, no matter, like, depending on the time and point in the game, like, my voice could be gone or halfway gone, and it's like a measure of, like, wait, how much oxygen do I have in my lungs to be able to belter this out? So yeah, I love that, and like I said, the missus doesn't like it, and I love that. So there's that.
All right, so Ale, Si Senor. We'll let you guys decide, everyone watching, which one is your favorite. We're not going to tell you which one you should choose. Now, the next one. Okay. So we've got a couple of winners against Everton. Sadio Mane in the 94th minute, or Divock Origi in the 96th, which should have only been 94 minutes, but shouldered it in. Jurgen Klopp loses his mind, runs on the pitch. I'm not going to, drive you guys into which one to pick, but I mean, Divock Origi was like,
I'm going to say you go first on this one.
I think Divock Origi was the one, because it's a part of the mystique of last season where we understand Liverpool are good, but it's not just that. It's those stuff where it's like, this doesn't make sense. It's the kind of narrative you tell in sports years down the line, years later, that, wow, there was something really magical about this team. And Divock Origi's winner going off the crossbar twice, Jordan Pickford losing his mind and just, I don't know how to do this anymore. And Divock Origi saying, bet, I'll take advantage, puts it in. Jurgen Klopp loses his mind, runs out into the middle of the pitch, hugs Alisson. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the way you got to go. Divock Origi in the 96. But again, by the way, should have only been 94 minutes to Liverpool, got a little lucky.
Well, actually, it should have been 93 minutes and 27 seconds. Who cares? But
it plays into the mystique.
There was reasons.
Yeah. Okay. So you're absolutely right on this one. But before we get into it, they're both great goals at the end. Beating the Ev in the final minute.
Shut up and answer the question.
It's obviously Origi. Listen, when I got to work on Monday, I was walking around the office like a dickhead watching it, but the Titanic version.
Yeah.
I just made an excuse like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. And I'm gonna go to eat lunch. Or I'm gonna go to the tech cafe and go fix my computer. And all I was doing was watching that goal and repeat with Celine Dion. I even sent it to family members that are not football fans, and they even appreciated it. Like the context of it all. Yeah, sometimes I still watch it.
I've watched it a million times.
Yeah, it's just the commentary from NBC Sports isn't that bad, and usually I don't like their commentary, but their commentary on that is pretty solid on it as well. So that makes it fun to watch.
Shout out to Arlo White. He was on it for that one.
Yeah, he's getting better over the years. So for me, it's absolutely that. Also, I have to say for Mane, I don't think I was in America at that point, so I probably didn't even watch it in English. So probably the emotion's gone for me.
So Origi's the right answer, like mainly just because it gave us the Mark face, right? So it's responsible for those big heads.
Yes.
It's responsible for that photo, which is one of the greatest photos I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I put him on my Instagram. Yeah, I remember that. Oh man, that's so good.
But
and Brian took off his shirt.
In the spirit of the debate show thing, as Darius said, I'll make this argument for Mane's goal. That goal, like that season, okay, Mane joins. You can tell he's a really impressive player. He's going to do a lot of things for us. But when you score a derby winner, you put yourself in sort of a category, like in sort of a place in the supporters' hearts that you can't just be in like a really good – like if you're a really good player but you don't show up in the derbies, then you're a really good player, but maybe I'm not going to remember you as a legend or whatever. But when he scored that goal and he pops up with that moment, in that season, that's a season that got us back into the Champions League, got us back into a position where we could sign a Mo Salah, sign an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, keep kicking on and doing the things that we ended up going on to do. So that is a massive goal. It's a goal that puts him into a place in the Liverpool supporters' hearts that just changes everything for him in terms of his relationship to the club, because it's a key moment in building the relationship that now you look at the relationship the supporters have with Sadio Mane. We're painting banners. We freaking love the guy, right? He's in like 2 or 3 songs, and he's no doubt a Liverpool legend already. So it's a very important moment in his sort of story arc because it's the moment that really kicks him on. So I'll make that argument for Sadio's because it was a big thing at the time.
Yeah, I can feel that. But yeah, absolutely. Obviously, right. Yeah, obviously it's a Origi. But yes, I can feel that though.
It bounced twice off the crossbar.
It's the greatest goal of all time.
Yeah.
Oh amazing.
Football without Origi. I love sending that meme or whatever that is.
I love wearing that shirt.
Your shirt too. But I love sending that meme to other friends of mine. And football without Origi is nothing. Because some of them are like, "Who the hell is Origi?" You know
who he is? Fucking legend, man.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The next one that we have: weekday game and a weekend game. Well, I mean, for us here in the States, I feel like this argument kind of makes itself. But Dave, you want to start off? Weekday,
all right,
weekend.
I'll say this. No, you know what? It's a fucking weekend game, man.
No bullshit. No, for me.
Okay.
All right, fine. You can be.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Weekend games. It's a better crowd. Like everybody's there. Everybody's available. People are super hyped because they just want to get drunk on the weekend, anyways. Everybody's prepped to sing. Like the weekend games are dope. Go ahead. Tell me your weekday version.
Okay. So here's the thing. I feel you on that, and especially like a Man City game on a Sunday at 11 a.m. or Saturday, whatever it is. I completely vibe with that. However, weekday games typically are Champions League games. Higher level competition, higher stakes. I'm all for that. Also, only the diehards are at the bar. So
that's true.
And then, not to mention, my favorite moment since being in, amongst you guys here in Tampa has been a weekday game. It's at home against Barcelona. That was a weekday game. There was probably 12 of us there.
Special.
Some of the people that were there don't even come in on the weekends. As you said to me one point, like the people sometimes that come on the weekdays, you don't see them on the weekend. You get kind of like a weird crowd.
You get a weird crowd.
And I understand that not everyone is lucky enough to be able to get out of work, and I'm not blaming anyone for that. I'm very fortunate. I don't have to tell my boss. I just leave. I don't care. So I understand all that, but the weekday is kind of exciting. And hell, it's also nice to leave work early too.
Yeah, well, like I'll give you that. Like it is.
And
Although
then
the only thing is
too.
I'm always pulling in like right after kickoff. So.
Oh yeah, that's your fault. Yeah. Yo, sometimes me too, but that's why.
Did you just say that's my fault?
Yeah, that's your fault, man. You gotta leave. You gotta leave on time. You gotta drive like Vin Diesel. You know what I'm saying?
I got meetings.
After meetings, reschedule them. That's what I do. Or I just bounce. Whoop. No, so for me, it's all about the weekday games. However, I completely acknowledge that the weekend, I love me a crowd. And for example, the Man United game when Salah puts in that goal in the 92nd minute, and then I took off my shirt next to Brian or something like that. I'll do that. But again, I'll go back to that Barcelona game. I just remember, I think the third goal goes in. I run to the other side of the bar where there's no one there, and then I run back, and then I think I run into someone, and then there was a few Barcelona fans that day, and so that vibe was just incredible. And
All right, can I just tell you guys something real quick? So Atletico Madrid at home, the second leg, we go up 2-1 when Bobby scores, and we all go berserk, right? Trini Dave runs across the bar. It's like you, me, and somebody else. We're all hugging. Dave comes over the top and it's like, and just his hand goes straight into my mouth. Mid-corona crisis. Hand in my mouth. I'm in the bathroom like 2 seconds later, like, scrubbing my tongue.
Oh man, that game was so sad. I was watching it literally on the flight. I was going into
You weren't there.
Yeah, so I was in Puerto Rico. Yeah. I was getting on my flight when Bobby scored that goal. In fact, I was watching with two other guys from Tampa, Liverpool fans. We were just about to literally get on the plane. Bobby scores, and then we try to get people to go in front of us so we can rewatch it. And then the flight attendants were like, "Get on the damn plane!" So it was kind of nuts. And then I fortunately got to watch the rest of it. And then it all turned out the way it did, and that was very sad.
It was sad, but Champions League's not getting finished.
Here's the thing, though. Segue, but if we had a better second goalkeeper, could we get?
Man, it's really down to like you're missing the best goalkeeper in the world, is what.
Yeah,
it is.
That's what I'm saying. So like
unlucky. I mean,
it's just unlucky. Yeah. Most second goalkeepers in the world aren't gonna have a world-class day there. Like you gotta remember, the dude won us the Super Cup. Like he's had good days.
I think we can all back off Adrian a little bit. I mean, yes, he had a shocker, but at the same time, any other keeper would not have been able to produce what he did throughout the season. Because remember, we missed Allison for
several games,
a month, 2 months. And we didn't miss
10 games.
Right.
Plus
so, I mean, yes, he was awful that game. Yeah. But his body of work is a little bit larger than his worst moment.
Yeah, to be fair. Because most goalkeepers, second goalkeepers are not really deserving of what their team does throughout the season because they don't really play. But in this case, Adrian is equally as
he earned his winner's medal.
If it had been Mignolet, we would have been down 6-2 at that point.
Wait, how bad would it have been if it was Loris Karius?
No.
I don't even want to know. We'd have to measure it in touchdowns.
Oh man!
All right, so to close out this section of it, I'll go back in on our this and or that. So, okay, I got to go with the weekend, but I'll be specific to it. I'll say that the weekend game on a Saturday, because for me, I go to church on Sundays, so I have to miss a lot of the first half of games, like the Man U game. I'm up in church and I'm like working the camera and checking my phone and checking the phone, get in the car, rush home and catch the second half. So Sunday games kind of suck. The Saturday games always, it's a part of like the same thing with the NFL. If you watch the Sunday games compared to Monday Night Football, like being a part of all the games, the full experience, and then being the last game of the day, I really appreciate that. I really like that. Everyone's watching.
I'm down with your Saturday caveat for one reason. the Pinellas folks don't care about this anymore. But those of us here in Hillsborough, we still know that if it's an early Sunday game before 11 a.m., I can't have a damn beer.
Oh, yeah, because of our crazy Florida
Or
law.
I got to have something where like the bar has to get a permit, or we have to do like a private party and can't let anybody who's not a member in. And it's like, come on, man. I just like, who cares about this like ancient law?
Can we tweet Jane Castor and be like, yo, change the law? Like, is that
We
a Tampa
could. Let's do it. Let's start the petition.
You know,
I'm down.
she's tweeting Tom Brady. I figure we could tweet her.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with that, the next question that we have for it is early kickoff or late kickoff?
Late.
I think if anybody here says early, you're.
Well, let's go into debate mode. Okay, so the early kickoff, even if it is the 7:30 game that personally I'm not waking up for until like 10 minutes in. Even with that early kickoff, you get the rest of your day. So, you know,
and typically those
done by
early
9
games
a.m.
are derbies.
That.
Yeah. It's usually a reason. It's not going to be the worst game. And to be honest, if Liverpool do play kind of poorly, it's usually not against a great team for the early kickoff. So it's like, all right, this is more interesting against Burnley than it probably should be. So, there's something in there.
There's
but
nothing.
No, it's the late kickoff.
It's
the late kickoff.
No, like, look,
it's the late
if you're asking, if you ask the wives, they'll be like, "Oh, early kickoffs," because he's back by like 10 a.m.
He gets the whole day with me.
That's funny. No, I think my missus would say the same thing.
But I mean, obviously, I think most of us think later, man.
Although
the crowds are better.
Although there's something to be said about breakfast drinking. I really like that. You know,
no. Especially if you got a deal going on, you know, like a
and it reminds me of my college days. You know what I mean? Makes me feel young.
Yeah. Eggs and eggs.
Spring in the step and so on.
Yeah, man. Biscuits and gravy and a Bloody Mary.
But I feel like that one, for us in the States, it picks itself, especially for anyone, good Lord, on the West Coast, like in Cali.
Oh, my God. Yeah, 4 a.m.
That one, obvious. No doubt. All right. So then this is really where we start to get into it. All right. Would you rather have the Champions League title or the Premier League title?
Oh, man, this is tough. You know,
now let's try to look at it from the perspective that Liverpool haven't gone 30 years without winning the Premier League and have just won the Champions League last year. Let's try to say in a vacuum.
No. Let's produce the caveat here that let's look at it from the vantage point of we won this Premier League title.
Okay, and then moving forward next year.
Yeah, because like I think all of us right now would obviously say the Premier League title. So let's just say for a moment that we won this Premier League title and that we're talking about you go into next season. Which one's bigger to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how I wanted to look at the situation. And, you know, talking to Mark so I'm agreeing with you. I remember talking to Mark about this a few months ago when we made our Champions League bet. I owe him a pack of Red Stripe, unfortunately. He said that he wants the Champions League, even before it looked like we were going to win the Premier League. And I'm just going to be selfish. Can I just say both? Can we have both?
You have to make the argument for why both. So you have to do double the work then.
No, okay, no, fine. Damn it, I'm not an overachiever. I think there's something more romantic about winning the Champions League than there is the Premier League. So, and I think it's more difficult to win the Champions League than it is to win the Premier League. So I would take that.
I'll say this. I think normally it's going to be like if it wasn't for the 30-year drought. Let's say that's over. Yeah, it's the Champions League every time because there's just so much attached to it. There's something about going to these crazy grounds in Rome and Spain and Portugal and Eastern Europe. You know, like when we went the first time or this last time, we had to go to freaking Belgrade and. It's just there's so much crazy stuff that you have to do to get to that point. And like for the folks over in Liverpool who travel to these games, for them it's like a big day out. But for us, even here, where yeah, we're not going to get to go to the game. There's something about, like you said before, like a different crowd. These like Tuesday afternoons where something magical happens. These Wednesday afternoons where we're all sort of like thinking the world's over for a minute.
Yeah.
You're going home in your work clothes, but it feels like days ago that you were at work.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I agree with that statement. However, no, go on. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, I think the players would agree, but I don't think the coaching staff would agree. I think, for example, on Jurgen Klopp's mind, he wants to win the Premier League every year. I think that's his first priority, and then everything else is second. But then the players, for example, Mane, Salah, I think they want to win the Champions League more than the Premier League.
We got to remember specifically for the guys that come from outside of England.
Exactly.
Everyone around the world watches the Champions League. So the Champions League is it's a bigger product than even the Premier League, which is kind of hard to think, but everyone around the world watches the Champions League. So it's like it's tough to kind of compare the two, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know, but from a fan perspective, like I said, I want both. Like, I want to be competitive in both. I want us to go far both. I mean, very disappointed what happened this year. Again, we were unlucky. That's football. It is life.
It's interesting though, because before you said in Europe that it's higher stakes, but if you think about it, it's actually higher stakes every week in the league because there's more money on the line in the Premier League. There's more and to Mark, like Mark once said to me something that I always think about. He was like, the league is your bread and butter.
Yeah,
it's that you base everything on. And like, he grew up in an era where Liverpool won the league all the time. Whereas like, I've come of age as a fan. Like, I've never seen it. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist, man. Yeah.
It's not a thing for me. So I view it differently. Like for me, I've seen us play in 4 European Cup finals. We've won 2 of those. Like, so to me, like the European Cup is always going to be like the thing, and it does have all this magic attached to it. And of course, both times that we've won it, that I've seen, we won it in incredible circumstances.
And then there's something to be said that it's more. Okay, this sounds a bit weird, but go with me here. The Champions League is more American. In the sense that it's more like how our American sports are built.
Like a playoff.
You get a true playoff.
Yeah, it's a playoff. There's it's not a series like 7 games or nothing, but it's more American in that sense where there's a final, there's a Super Bowl, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, for me, that's why fair. When I said stakes, it's more of that kind of like romanticism and so on. And as Darius pointed out, yeah, it's watched all over the world. There's people in fucking Mozambique watching the Champions League.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I will say this,
so
though.
I think that excitement is more fun,
I will say this. So I personally think Champions League, but what is the Champions League without winning the Premier League? Like, if you are going and winning in Europe, then you obviously need to be dominating within your league as well. And it's way tougher to dominate. It's way tougher to, but that's the thing though. It's way tougher to dominate in the Premier League, to win consecutive titles 3 in a row. You just don't see that compared to going out and winning in Europe. It's way tougher to win the Premier League constantly than to go on a run and make back-to-back Champions League finals. Like what Liverpool did, it would be more impressive if they go out and finish first or second 2 more times in the Premier League than if they were to make the final and, they got to the final 3 in a row. Just because the Champions League, because this cup competition is a bit more random, because it's 38 matches, there is no question who's the best team in England. And you can make the argument that the best team in England is probably the best team in the world as far as a week-to-week constant lay it all out basis. So I would say from that standpoint, it's harder to win the Premier League. Therefore, that's the one you should probably go for. But I still think at the end of the day, it's like the Champions League means more to a lot more people. But you're not in the Champions League if you don't play well in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's true. No, but you're right about the Premier League, and I misspoke earlier. Because it's just more mentally. I'm gonna try to use an SAT word. Arduous.
I thought you were going to say
Arduous,
menstrual.
yes. It takes more
Arduous.
gumption. Yes.
It's
and it's
more
an arduous
difficult.
process.
It's tough as hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
English is hard.
Hey, could Lionel Messi go and do it at Stoke on a Thursday night in the rain? Could he do it? Could he do it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, he can't do it. Like me and the missus were watching. No, me and the missus were watching the Barcelona highlights the other night, and she's like, "I don't want to see it. I really like Messi." And I was like, "Watch him cry. You watch him. Watch him cry, Anthony.
Let him watch the first leg highlights."
No, we don't speak about that.
No, that makes it even sweeter.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
It's always the context.
Well, especially because now you can go back and look at it and like, oh no, we saw this coming because that shouldn't have been no 3-0. They got a little.
Oh, but I gotta give him
Shouldn't
credit
have been
though. That free kick and the.
Well, you
and
give
the
Messi credit. You give Messi credit
yeah.
because he is brilliant.
Yeah,
but
but
teams wasn't that big. It wasn't no 3-0 difference.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, I remember having arguments with my friends from overseas, and they were like, "Oh, it's football, but like, yeah, it wasn't like that." But then after when we won 4-0, they were like, "Oh, but like Barcelona didn't deserve to lose that badly. It should have been maybe 4-1 or 4-2 or something." And I'm like, "That's the way the cookie crumbles." I'm going to fucking Madrid. Get out of here.
So, speaking of going to Madrid after beating Barcelona, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer a comeback win or a comfortable breeze?
That's tough.
It's Liverpool, baby. Comeback wins all day.
Yeah,
drama.
I
You only do things one way, man.
I love the drama. I'm a gossip man. I'm a gossip boy. I love me the drama.
However,
However,
there is something nice about a comfortable win. Like we all just like chill out on the porch or whatever bar we're hanging out at, and like day drink for a while, and then just mosey on our way. That's fine, and you gotta have that. But then like, there's just something about a comeback win that just leaves your heart pounding and like,
feel more alive.
The only way the comfortable win is nice is if you've had like 3 comeback wins in a row and you need a nice like palate
you
cleanser.
need to calm down.
You need like your blood pressure to drop. So then that's when the comfortable win is nice.
Yeah.
But from a dramatic standpoint, I live for that stuff. I mean, hell, in November, I almost got into a car accident because Sadio Mane scored a header against Aston Villa.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was driving too. Yes.
Yo, that's the game. That's a game that was blocked on TV. You had to had gold or whatever. And another friend of mine was here in November. We were going to Miami. We were on the way to Miami. She was jet lagged. She was in the back of the car sleeping. And I get to a stoplight. I had the app on my phone. Kids, don't drive and watch sports. Only professionals can do that.
We would never do that.
Yeah, anyway, so I had it. And then they showed the bonus footage, right, of the game because it was 2 minutes left. And then, the corner goes in or whatever, and then Mane hits it in. And I'm at a red light. But I let go of the gas and I start hitting the steering wheel, the ceiling. My friend woke up and then the car moved a little bit. I almost nicked the guy in front of me. Thank God I got back on the brake. But yeah, almost got into a little baby accident on that dramatic win. What a game! To this day I still haven't even seen the game. I've seen highlights, but I haven't watched the game in
No, you know what the ultimate I need a comfortable win here was after Roma second leg. And then, everybody was banged up, and we needed a win in the league in order to seal it against Middlesbrough.
Right, yeah.
I think it was. It was we had to seal 4th to just ensure Champions League next year, or we were going to have to win the final against Real Madrid. And I was I cannot take this shit. I just need a comfortable win here. And they delivered, thank God. I was like, all right, thank you. That's all I need. I need the lads to go out and just handle business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there are moments where you need a comfortable win, but on an average day, if you're just telling me on a one-off how you want it to happen, Liverpool's going to win either way, but how you want it to happen, give me the drama all day.
All day, yeah, I agree with that statement.
I mean, it wouldn't be the drama if I knew, obviously. But
right.
Well, but if you know it's going to be a 1-0 in the 97th, you don't know. Okay, necessarily who's going to do it, how it's going to go, so you can still.
I mean, speaking of
down 3-0, you're like, wait a minute.
Right. Reminiscing about dramatic comebacks. How because I was on the Liverpool's YouTube channel, which, by the way, over the last couple seasons, they've been more phenomenal in their approach to social media. So whoever they hired for social media, hands down or whatever to them. But like Lovren, 4-3.
Bro.
Yeah. I watched it back.
My hand was bloody that game. My hand, that goal goes in. I hit the ceiling at the bar that I'm in Poland, and I hit the light fixture. And I had glass and shit all over my hand, blood and everything. Didn't care. It still was celebrating. But yeah, that's another dramatic comeback. That's what
game
white
was
football's
just
about
like
for me.
40 people at Four Green Fields pouring sweat. And it was just funny because Brian and I we were down, what was it, like 3-1. And Brian and I were like, it's fine. We're going to win this. We're like, we just have to score once every 10 minutes. That's it. And then they did it. Like, the first one goes in. I think it was Coutinho scored that second one. And we're like, it's fine. We're gonna get a third. We're going to tie it. We need it the next 10 minutes. Sacco scores. We're like, that's it. We're winning this. And Jordan came around the bar. Jordan's like, we're fucking winning it. I know it. Like, everybody was like, I know it. When Lovren shit went in, we blew the roof off that place. Like, I'll never forget that day. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, all you got to do is score once every 10 minutes, or score on pace of 9 goals. That's all you got to do. Like.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like
well, we're already behind.
60th minute, we're down 3-1, so it was just like, all right, whatever. Let's just put it in your mind like this. Like, you just had to think of it in the right way. And I already knew then.
Cut the game into sections. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I already felt like at that time, Klopp was developing them mentally.
Right.
And like, so much had happened in that season with Klopp and the fans, and like, he was grooming us. He was grooming the players, just everything. He was creating a culture. And then Dortmund was like the moment where it was just like when the evil genius puts his hands on the thing and all the lightning bolts. Like,
okay, random question now. Talking about this game, I want to rewatch the game in entirety. How do I do that? Do I have to like find it illegally online?
YouTube will have it for you.
I think there's also a site called like, what's it called, like Elysian or something like that, or
we'll talk about it later. Anyway,
I was gonna say maybe we should take this one offline.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we'll take that one offline.
No, I was just getting curious.
We'll circle back after this, guys.
Yeah, there's some illegal shit you can do.
All right. But here's why you guys are dead wrong. So look, the reason why you go with the comfortable win, if you're talking about in the context of
you're wrong, Darius.
Neutral,
stop talking.
You're talking in the context of a neutral. I just want to enjoy a game I don't give a damn about. You're absolutely right. Give me the thrill. If you're talking about a team you care about, you want to see them dominate. You want to see them win every game. You don't care about how other fans feel. You don't care about the excitement. You want to see 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. You want to see them put 10 up if they can. You want to go and see them put up 100 points in the season. You don't give a damn about nobody's feelings. You don't give a damn about breaking the sport. You want to break the code. You want to break the matrix. You want to go and dominate so much that people don't want to play football anymore because they're so damn demoralized because your team is that good. Yes, give me the comfortable win all day long.
Dude, my dog disagrees with you, man.
You just made my nipples soft. It's the hope that kills you. I want United to have the hope, and then have it taken away.
Because I want to have the opportunity.
You want them to have hope
answer.
and to think that
That's it, and then have it ripped away.
Yes.
No, I want them to have no hope. Cut the head off and then stomp on the corpse. That's the way I run things.
Dude, this escalated.
That's how we do this.
We're not around like the hard ones.
No hope.
The first of the real ones.
Well, along the same lines, when it comes to where you get your win, do you want to win at home or do you want to win on the road?
I like away games.
It's a tough question, right? Because like, this came up with a lot of the other podcasts with the final or with the title, like where do you want to clinch it, right?
Right.
And one of the guys, I think it was on the Anfield Wrap. It was like I don't even think he's like one of their guys. He's a reporter or something. Neil Jones. Yeah, I think he works for the Echo or something. But He took flack for saying that he wanted it to happen away, but I can kind of understand because, like, when you think about some of the magical games of last season in particular, Southampton, Newcastle, you think of this year, that United fixture away and, like, what that meant to this season when Lallana gets the equalizer. Villa was away. And so, like, you can have some magical moments away from home that can be, like, season-defining. But, I mean, of course, winning at home is everything. Like, if Anfield's a fortress, then that's everything. And so
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the right answer is home for me. Like, I want us to win every match we play at Anfield. But I also understand, like, how magical a good away win can, like, a difficult away win can be. And, like, imagine if last season we had won at City, what it meant to us at the time, and what the ongoing implications of that would have been. So, like, this one's really tough. I'm going to go with home, but I can definitely see the
Okay,
other side.
so there's two ways to look at this answer or this question. The right answer, I think, is home, and the right answer is to look at this question from the perspective of players and the staff and the overall longevity and like what you want, like what's best for the club, right? But then the other way to look at it, and the way I'm going to look at it, is from a selfish perspective as what I call a TV fan, because we watch all our games on TV. And for me, that answer is no doubt undoubtedly away from home. The reason being is because, like, when we're at the bar and we watch the games and we have the volume up and we're playing away from home, who do we hear? We typically hear our supporters over their, Aston Villa supporters or whoever the case might be. So for example, we might hear them sing Bobby's song, and then that might engage us to start singing our own version here in the bar to get our atmosphere going up. So from that perspective, I enjoy that because I love a good sing along. And then I love it when we win away from home because the last 2 minutes you hear the away fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," which everyone should love. That damn song always gives me goosebumps, so I love it. So again, from that perspective, I know this is the wrong way, but that's my way of looking at it.
I don't think it's the wrong way.
But you're David. I can't disagree with you. Like, yeah, of course. Like, duh, I want to win every home game. And yeah, when I went to Anfield, 5 years ago, I was like, I hope they better fucking win this game.
See,
so
that's
it is
why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going in the other direction, because it's an assumption you should win at home. And Anfield should be a fortress. But when you go and win on the road, that's more special, especially when it is a big crowd. You go to the Theater of Dreams, you go to Stamford Bridge, and you go and you silence thousands, dozens of thousands of fans who want nothing more than to curse you out, tell you what kind of name you are, and you put in a goal, and they go dead silent. Oh, that's satisfying. That is so satisfying. Like, going back to the previous question, we were talking about giving them hope. Well, everyone has hope at the beginning of the match, and then you could just cut the throats out.
Again, you're so dark.
That's a great feeling.
That's interesting, though, because, like, you say, like, you should win at Anfield, but you can remember a time not that long ago when it wasn't so much of a fortress.
No.
It
wasn't that long ago.
You know what I mean? Like, we were dropping points there all the time. And so, like, when you're not winning at home, you're like, damn, I'm just giving it. Like, when we're coming back to Anfield, let's freaking win.
But it's more, to me, it's like, it's desperate if you don't win at home. If you're not constantly winning at home, there's something wrong. If you're not winning on the road, it's understandable. You go away and you take a draw. Honestly, in the Premier League, you get a draw on a tough road game. That's not the worst thing in the world. But if you go away and you get 3 points, let's get it.
No, and like you've seen, the best team in the world can go on the road to Watford and get spanked.
Oh my God, that game!
I don't want to bring it up, but
yeah, no,
it happens. It is what it is.
But yeah, and then there's that extra sweetness. It's like hot sauce to your meal if you went away from home. So I prefer it. And also, like, yeah, when we give a good team a good dicking away from home, that's nice. You know, beating.
Also, I like
You know,
seeing good celebrations in the away clip and the away kits.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff, and then, like, you know, for example, I was in New York when we played at Stamford Bridge this season, and you know what a game that was. You know, Trent scoring that free kick and so on and so forth. That was an atmosphere. You know, even if it was away from home. So yeah,
Like
I
you
love
said,
that.
Andrew, when your fans take over on the road, it's just such a
Exactly.
great feeling. Like, wow, we came up and just spanked y'all and took over your spot. So that's a really cool thing. But all right,
Yeah.
guys, these have all been easy questions up to now. Now, this is what separates the men from the boys. This is the ultimate tough question in our this or that. Anfield comeback against Barcelona or Istanbul?
David,
Who wants to go first?
since you're the gentleman of the group, you know, I'll
Well,
cede the floor to you.
Oof.
Right.
That's really tough. That's really tough because, like, Barcelona, that one meant everything to me on, like, a super personal level in terms of, like, look, when Istanbul happened, just like a guy who liked watching soccer at bars with other people. That's the truth. And, like, really, it was part of what started my transition into being a full-blown Liverpool supporter.
Right.
Was that I saw it happen. But I wasn't, like, at that time, I wasn't as invested as some of the people around me. I will make the argument that, like, because it was a final, because it happened in the span of, 45 minutes and then the extra time and penalties, and because it was that AC Milan team, like, when you really think about that AC Milan team, like, they were so stacked. They had so much talent with Shevchenko and Kaká, Pirlo. They were just ridiculous. But, after what happened the first leg at Barca and how emotional that was, and, like, I think it really comes down to the 2 weeks in which it unfolds, right? Because we go into the first leg and we're riding high, thinking, like, City can still lose in the league, and we're going to dust these guys off and go to a second straight European final. We go there, we lose. Mo Salah gets hurt in the Newcastle game at the weekend. We pull that Newcastle game out of the fire, only to have City have Vincent Kompany score the goal of his life on Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon. And then
Leicester,
it's Tuesday. And you're thinking, like, we're down 3-0. There's no way City's losing to Brighton on the final day. We're screwed. This is it. Like, we're done unless a miracle occurs today. And I think for me, what made it special was just the level of confidence in people like myself and in Jordan and Attila, who were just like, we just got to get the first goal. We all kept saying the same thing. Get the first goal. We'll see what happens. But it's at Anfield, and we're playing for our hopes of anything. And that was, at the time, you're thinking, this is the greatest Liverpool team I've ever seen. So how can they not win something? They have to win something. And the only way to do it now is that we've got a fucking 4-0 or 5-1 Barcelona at our place. But it's possible because it's Anfield. And then just the manner in which it happened and everything just sort of fell into place. It's just such a special day. Even though Istanbul is like the formative moment in my Liverpool watching life, probably, it's the moment that draws me to other Liverpool fans. I still probably go Barcelona just because it was my first probably true triumphant thing that led to a trophy when I was a full-blown supporter.
That makes sense.
So it's hard. Because I watch Istanbul, I still get chills. And it's like I have that memory of seeing people and being drawn to it. But it's not quite like when you are a part of that thing. and you've now embraced it, and you've gone through over a decade
Right.
of waiting for that thing to happen again. So I'll probably go Barcelona.
Yeah. And, of course, this has a little bit of bias because, these two games are generational divides, for example, I was a teenager when Istanbul happened. And so, and then humans
Shut up,
obviously.
youngin.
Yeah, but my point being is that, and then, whatever's more popular than mine, humans are naturally more drawn to that. Like, it's easier to say that. But yeah, I have to agree with everything you just said. And I've already alluded to this earlier in this segment. When I argued that the weekday games are better, and I talked about this game. Listen, basically, I'm just so happy that day I was at work. I was like, should I go to watch a game? Do we have I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. And the best comeback I've ever seen in probably all of sports. And what a ride! Just that game is all I have to. Those two games are the only like if I wanted to convert like one of my cousins to football, like that's the two games I would make them watch to understand like why this sport I think is one of the most fun to watch, and to be a part of, the pure ecstasy and all that involved. But you're right, the fact not only what you were talking about that Vincent Company scored against Leicester and all that, but we had Salah was on the bench, Firmino wasn't playing.
Yeah.
What you try to tell me
Shaq and Origi in the lineup.
Yeah. You try to tell me the best NFL team or whatever basketball team, and then like try to do the same thing without LeBron
without
James.
their best players.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. That's
Be
not
like the Heat beating the Spurs without LeBron or D Wade. Like
yeah.
Chris Bosh, you're our only hope.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Birdman. Go get us 20 points.
Yeah. Then exact. I don't get that reference, but that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I know he is.
But it's funny because you said there like it's the greatest comeback you've ever seen, and somebody asked me like, "Well, you're a Bills fan. Is it the greatest comeback you've ever seen?" And I know what they're referencing. I get it. It's the Bills-Oilers game where we were down 35-3.
Oh yeah, I know that game. Yeah.
Incredible game. But here's the thing. I was 9 or 10 years old at the time, and I got fucking pissed at halftime and shut it off and went outside and played basketball for 4 hours. When I came back, they'd won.
Oh, that's great. Hey, man, you make some mistakes. You live and you learn.
But you know what it taught me is I was like, never again will I ever not watch.
Watch to the end.
Like, you just watch till the end. And it may be painful and maybe nothing happens, but you just never know.
Yeah, you never
know.
So you can watch it and, like, do dishes or something. You can have it on,
Well, I was 10, so I wasn't doing my dishes, bro.
Well, you had bad parents, young man. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, of course it's Barcelona. I mean, credit to BT Sport for having the production value or directing to have that footage and after the game when they were interviewing the players, like just afterwards, I'll put it on every now and then just to have that emotional like nostalgia high of like what we went through, even though again when we were watching it in the pub we weren't watching BT Sport, but to hear Mane with no words, Genie say, "Hey, I was mad at the manager." That's why I scored 2. I was so pissed off at him and all that. And then, just that again, credit to BT because every time I watch, I feel like, oh, I was there like that. Like one of our own, the legend that Matt is, he got to go to that game. Well, after, but
all right. So I'll make the case for Istanbul. Now, I did not watch Istanbul live. I hadn't watched it until probably 5-6 years later, to be honest. And even then, it was like couldn't really put it into context. But when I look at the two games, I can understand, I can rationalize how Liverpool's 4-0 at Anfield happened against Barcelona. Liverpool were far from dominated in Barca. they were unlucky to not have a couple of goals of their own. You can make the argument that they were the better team that day. They went down 3-0 at Barcelona at Camp Nou. You can't make any kind of argument that in the first half against AC Milan, Liverpool were the better team. They were just unlucky. No, AC Milan blew the freaking doors off of them. AC Milan were probably the better team. But in the second half, it's magic. You can't put it into words. You can't explain what happened other than, bruh, it happened. So for me, that's the one you go with just because it's unexplainable. It's just, that's pure sports. Like, I don't get how that happened, but it did. And the shootout at the end to cap it off, Dudek making the saves, like, that's
and you know what? Man. And you know what? I would argue we wouldn't even have this number 6 without Dudek because, you know, I have a scarf signed by Dudek. I wear that every Champions League game. So clearly that's the reason why we win.
Oh, yeah, you got the good juju. You got the good juju.
I got the good juju. I didn't have it.
Well, no shit, we wouldn't have number 6 because we'd just be on number 5.
Yeah, whatever, man. It's the same thing. Anyway, so and also because so obviously I had to meet the guy to get his autograph. So so I like Istanbul too. But obviously the more recent the better.
Really tough question.
No, it is.
It's the ultimate. That's the toughest one that they had on the list. But we are through the this or that list, so we don't have to kill each other over difference of opinion anymore. Now we can be on the same page. Hey guys, it's Darius. Thank you for tuning in to Kop Talk. So we went a little bit long on our record. We went 2 hours. Yes. So after this first section that you just saw of us going through LFC This or That, we have a whole other hour dedicated to what the restart is going to look like for not just LFC, but all of the Premier League and all of Europe. What are sports going to look like after this quarantine? So check out that second hour coming up later this week. But for now, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, wherever it is on your YouTube, here, wherever it pops up. Just subscribe. That'd be dope. See you guys next time.